All right, guys. I was using this aquarium as a simple test to test out a couple things. You saw this tank show up on my videos a couple weeks ago, and I just wanted to go over what exactly I was testing, what the results are, and also just to give a quick update over the tank and the inhabitants, and then we'll go from there. So I really wanted to test three simple things in this aquarium that mainly focused on plants and algae growth in this aquarium. Number one is heat. So there is a heater in this aquarium. Number two is the substrate system. I really did change a couple things, not too much, but a couple things with the substrate system. And then three, fertilization and fertilizers in the soil and in the water column to really test how they would work. So in the past, I've struggled with keeping certain plants alive and also just to keep algae growth down. So I wanted to test out a couple things that I had been thinking about for a little while, and here are the results. Really quickly, you'll notice that the water level is a little low, and yes, that is simply because there is a heater on this. It is producing a lot more steam and just kind of kicking water out of the aquarium much faster than I can keep up with it right now. I will put a lid on, and that will just kind of help with the overall maintenance of the tank. But for right now, the water's a little low. In the next video, which I will literally film later, I will do a water change and everything. So don't worry about that, guys. The color of the tank, that's just from the wood, just from it being new wood. Never tried this before, so that's just from that. But the heater really kicking up the temperature, I think it helped with the tropical plants a little bit better, because the overall temperature of the fish room that I keep it at right now is like 74, 75. So being able to kick it up an extra 3 or 4 degrees, I think really, really helped this aquarium and really helped exactly what I was testing, because I've noticed some plants doing a lot better that I've tested in almost the same conditions outside of the heater previously. So specifically talking about these plants back here. Now, number two, I really wanted to test out the substrate system. I mixed a lot of gravel, sand, and also old aqua soil on top of new aqua soil in, and created a very, very large, thick base that's probably 3-4 inches thick. And obviously it's sloped to give it more depth in the aquarium. But I think with that deeper aquarium, it was a little easier to plant the plants, stick them down into the soil, have them stick a little bit better, and then also give it more space for the roots. Because as you guys can see, this red plant in the back here, that thing has grown probably well over a foot to maybe 15 inches in length in just a few short weeks, and continues to grow. That will be part of the next video. I'll trim that and plant it, but it continues to grow like crazy. And it's also keeping that really strong, vibrant red color. And then with the fertilizers and fertilizing system in the substrate, I did use root tabs. I used quite a few of them, specifically in the places I was going to plant. I actually put them in after I planted, so I knew exactly where the plants were going to go instead of randomly around the aquarium. Now, the roots were able to... I feel like the roots with that substrate system on top of the fertilizer were able to grow that much faster. And because the plants were growing so much faster, there was nothing for the algae to grow on. So there is a little bit of algae on the glass, especially down here. You guys can see it, but nothing terrible. And I've kept up with the maintenance fairly well. Obviously it needs a top off. But I think on top of that, on top of the root tabs in the substrate system, but also the fertilizer in the water column itself really helped kickstart all the plants immediately. I've had, I don't think just one plant die off, but that plant, I wasn't sure if it was going to make it anyway, so not too big of a deal. But I was able to keep these guys alive. I have never been able to do that, ever. I mean, look at them. They've grown probably 4 or 5 inches. It's crazy. These guys were probably about that short when I put them in. So they're, more than doubled in size. And I've always struggled to keep those alive. They're doing really well. So now the only qualms I have about the tank is that some of the leaves, you can tell that there's a little bit of sludge on them, kind of brown, maybe some algae, whatever. The plants are still growing fine. You can especially see it right there. But the plants are still growing fine, and I'm going to keep it like this. I will throw probably some snails, a good number of snails in there to help kind of take care of that, but not anything else, because I think the tiger barbs will most likely nip at any fish I put in there and or shrimp. So I really don't want to do that quite yet. Now, the tiger barbs, because they were younger tiger barbs, were a little skittish at first, but they have quickly come out into the front of the aquarium a lot more, especially when I'm out and about, and they do feed ravenously, as tiger barbs do. So, great guys to have around. I think I've lost one or two. I did notice a couple that were looking a little sick for some reason. I don't know what happened there. So I've lost a couple, but for the most part, these guys are pretty active and pretty healthy. So definitely try to give them a high protein diet and kind of mix it up every once in a while, you know. So that is the update for the tank. Really just testing 3 things, because I've struggled in the past with plants in my aquariums and other fish, fish tanks in the fish room. So really just trying to test a few ideas with this tank and figure out and really nail down what I was doing wrong and learn from it. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Maybe you learned something. I know I did with this experiment. And if you guys have any suggestions on what to try next, or things that you are interested in me trying or testing out for you guys, I would happily do so. Just leave me something down in the comments and I will do my best to get to it. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.